Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is for you. This is The Den, episode number 14. I am Steve, aka Bronx, and I'm joined by.
Matt, aka Nemo. We're back. Upsetting weekend for my fantasy team. Upsetting weekend for my parlay. Even more upsetting weekend for the Bears, though. We're back.
Yep, this is episode 14, the real episode 14. Slight little hiccup in the last one, so we don't really have a pregame for the Colts, but we'll go into the postgame for the Colts. Little mix up between the both of us, so we're good though. Moving on, moving forward. We should have an episode 15, so the pregame for the Rams game. But yeah, this is the Den episode number 14. Our recap of the tough loss to the Indianapolis Colts. Uh, yeah, you already mentioned a little bit of your weekend. You want to mention any more?
Trying to think. Had some family come up for one of the days to hang out. So overall, I mean, it was a
Nice.
good weekend. It wasn't a bad weekend. Got a lot of homework I needed to get done. Have some exams this week, but shouldn't be too difficult. So yeah, how was your weekend?
It was good, man. It was good. The St. Ed's Big Red got their very first win on Sunday in the pouring rain. Come away with a win. I think the final score was like 19-7. Dom had a couple tackles in the game, including one on fourth down, which was awesome to see. He also lit somebody up on the sideline and sent the ball flying and the kid crying. So Dom played pretty well this weekend. Gio, on the other hand, the Providence seemed a bit too much. I was on the chains, so I got to be, on the field and get a firsthand um, viewing experience. But I got to chat a little bit with the Providence coach, who was really, really cool guy, really nice guy. They good group of kids. Normally when I'm on the sideline, I get to hear all the shit talking, and and they were relatively mellow. Um, to be honest, they like earlier before in the season, they are similar to St. Pat's. They have a small freshman and sophomore classes, so they combine them. So freshmen and sophomores were combined, and they played on Friday, and then Saturday was the JV against our sophomores. So basically, what he told me was it's the scout team for the varsity roster, and the starting quarterback for that game had just lost his job on the starting as the starting quarterback of varsity. So Gio got to face once again a lot of juniors with a sprinkled bit of sophomores in there. So it's good for the sophomores just to, especially ones that aren't already been called up to varsity, to get a chance of how physical the varsity game is, right? Because there's definitely a difference between freshman and sophomore, but an even bigger jump sophomores to varsity. They unfortunately fell to Providence, but it is what it is. It's a learning experience for that group. Um, not a majority. A lot of their playmakers are on varsity for Notre Dame, anyways. So it's next year is going to be an exciting year for them. But anyways, that was my weekend. Moving on, our game recap. The score 21-16 for the Colts. And just diving into not a few, actually quite a bit of key moments that I sort of jotted down here. Just to start it off, it's second and goal for Indy. There's 12 minutes left in the second quarter, and Richardson rolls out, gets his pass tipped by Sanborn, and it's picked off by Edmonds in the end zone. He looked rattled in the passing game. Richardson did. Like he didn't look comfortable.
All year he hasn't looked good. I don't know why.
You're muted.
My bad. Sorry. He hasn't looked good all year. Maybe not all year, but at least last week he didn't look good either. So I don't know what's going on with
Yes.
him. I don't know if it's he's getting pressured or what, but yeah, he did not look good.
I don't, I don't know. I think he's only been sacked like 5 times the whole year. So and we only
Yeah.
sacked him once. Sweat got on the board, but
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with him. I don't know what it is with him in the passing game right now. He's once again, this is basically like his rookie year because of the injuries he had
Yeah.
last year, and sitting out quite a bit of that year last year. So I don't know. Um, But another one, another play, 3rd and 4 from the Colts 27. Caleb's first INT on an out that Caleb was sort of slow to get to. He was going through his progressions. Honestly, mistakes like that happen all the time. There isn't a perfect quarterback in the game. Yes, it's a rookie mistake. He probably should have tucked it and maybe try to get some yards or something like that. But trying to make a play, and Jones makes his first interception of the game. 1st and 10 from the Bears 29 with 8 minutes left in the second, and Jonathan Taylor with his easiest touchdown run of it, probably his career, especially for that length. 29-yard touchdown run. Uh, he ran it up and down the field on us, and
Mhm.
basically was the reason, besides our ineffectiveness on offense, but really the reason why the Colts won this game. 4th and goal from the 2. What, probably the worst play call I've ever seen in my entire life.
Mm.
4th and goal from the 2 with a minute and 40 left in the seconds. The Bears and
Bro, our entire
they-
fucking O line was on their ass though too, which doesn't help.
yeah, and so I wrote literally Bears run an option where 4 out of the 5 offensive linemen are laying on the ground watching the play unfold. Uh, I don't, it's kind of hard. Like I would go for that situation every time, but I can see an argument on why you would want to take the points. But me personally, I like the aggressiveness. I would go for that. Play choice, awful. What they do, run it 4 straight times and couldn't get it in.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, at that point, you have Caleb throw 52 times in a game. What's 53?
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know what I don't understand the speed option. It just doesn't make sense in that situation. Single-handedly, his worst play call of the year so far, Waldron's, is the
Bro,
fourth
his
and
play call has been bad. I mean, seriously, it boils down to like, sure, there's a lot of intricate things we can fix in terms of how players are playing, but truly, I've been saying it. People defended him, excuse me, because of how good the defense did last year. Like Matt Eberflus could call a bad play, and our defense is so fucking good, we could do good. I truly think a a fat chunk, if not most of it, right now is on our coaching. And people would rather blame our rookie quarterback Caleb than be like, maybe this Matt Eberflus guy isn't that good. Maybe growing a beard didn't make him a better coach. I don't know.
no, yeah. We can dive into that a little bit when we talk about sort of the stats and breakdown and his usage of the timeouts and stuff like that. But yeah, 1st and 10, the first drive to open up the second half, Richardson throws his second interception. Jalen Johnson with the pick, clear overthrow. He had the
Mhm.
dude wide open. He just steps up and overthrows it right into Jalen's hands. 1st and 10 with 9 minutes in the third. After a roughing the kicker penalty, Caleb makes a good throw, but Rome cannot come up with the catch, and Jalen Jones makes a circus. I mean, a circus INT. Um, I've heard it all. I don't know. I didn't listen to their press conferences. I wonder. I'm sure Caleb took the blame for it, but I would say, like Rome, we drafted him at 9. He's expected to come up with some of those balls, especially that one. It hit him in the hands.
Mhm.
Uh, at the worst, knock it down. Like if he's not going to be able to catch that, find a way to knock it down. I thought it was a pretty good throw. I mean, it just hits off of his hands and chest and lands in Jalen Jones's hands. Whom that have you seen the slow mo
Of what?
of that second interception?
No.
Jalen Jones makes an incredible toe tap. Like he contorts his body. I mean, that was probably one of the interceptions of the year. Just of how he actually came down with that.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, 2nd and goal, Sermon touchdown run, similar play earlier in the game. This is sort of why I wanted to bring this up. With a similar play earlier in the game, forward progress was blown dead when Anthony Richardson's hand or legs are literally still moving, and he throws a pick, but they blow it dead. However, on this play, Sermon's touchdown run,
Mhm, dude,
his
bro,
legs are
it was
completely stopped, His legs are completely stopped, and the pile starts to move backwards. But then, obviously, more people
Yep.
get involved, and they push him into the end zone.
No,
So
yeah.
I
Don't even get me started, bro. I was so pissed when that shit happened. I was like,
for
"There's no fucking way that is not
for
forfeit."
forward progress. What is it? What is it like?
Well,
What
it's
is the
purely
definition of it?
discretionary. It's purely discretionary.
Which
That's
is
the issue.
awful.
That's the issue with
And
it.
another thing is I get it. It's discretionary, and that's why you can't replay it
View
or
it. Yeah.
challenge it. But it should be allowed. I mean, literally, if I guarantee you, one of those refs, if he gets a chance to watch it again, I don't know if they do or what they probably just don't, and they get their little evaluations afterwards. I bet you they would say 9 times out of 10 that they wouldn't have blown the Richardson one dead, and they would have blown the Sermon touchdown dead because those plays, key plays in the game. They were
Yeah.
key plays in the game. First and goal, 8 minutes left. In the fourth, Caleb throws his very first career touchdown pass, and it's to Roma Dunze, who gets his very first career receiving
Who
touchdown.
also? I was gonna say, I don't know if
Gosh.
you have it on here. Yeah. What? No, you don't have it on here. The insane catch by Rome, like the 35-yard catch over the shoulder. Do you remember that or no? It was
Hmm?
insane. I think he actually pulled it out of whoever was guarding him's hands too. I don't know. I don't know if it's on there, but that
Mm,
shit was
no, I think it literally fell over his shoulder right into the bread basket.
really. I thought he like
Just
came down with it. I don't know if he pulled it out of his hands, but I thought it was like contested.
nah, it was on the run over the
Mm.
shoulder. But yeah, first and 10 from their own 19, a sack fumble by Caleb. Uh, Basically, I don't know what the hell they're thinking. They left Cole Komet alone to block a defensive end.
Maybe I don't know.
I Yes, Cole is good. Yes, he's a good tight end and he's a pass receiving tight end. But if you know you're going to keep the tight end in that situation, throw Mercedes Lewis out there, who's known for his blocking skills.
Yeah.
If you know you're keeping the tight end in, throw Mercedes out there. That's for sure a block. And if you actually watch the play in the all 22, he has Rome wide open and he's stepping
Mhm.
up to just drill it right down the seam, and Rome's running for days. I mean, he's wide open. It was just such crazy timing. Um, and then 4th and 1 from the Colts 3, Williams to commit uh, for his second touchdown pass in the game. There's basically 2 minutes left in the game, which was interesting. I don't know. Well, anyways, moving on. We'll talk about that later. Those were basically the key plays in the game. Um, But yeah, next segment, statistical breakdown. Basically, just running through the stats, and then we'll dive a little more into each sort of performance, each offensive, defensive performance um, on the day. But the Bears' offense, Caleb Williams goes 33 for 52, 52 passes, 363 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He did not have 5 rushes for 44 yards. That was last week, but I think he had 1 rush for 8 yards. He was sacked 4 times. Our rushing leaders, Roshan Johnson, 8 carries for 30 yards. Swift, another dud, 13 carries for 20 yards, and Herbert had 4 carries for 9. Receiving, Roma Dunze, breakout game, 6 receptions for 112 yards, including a touchdown. He was targeted tied for team high with 11 targets. Cole Kmet, 10 catches for 97 yards, 1 touchdown on 11 targets. DJ Moore, 8 catches for 78 with 10 targets. Um, Overall, I thought there's more. Obviously, there's more people that caught passes, but those were just the standout for receivings. But I like the way Caleb sort of spread the ball around and literally spread it all over the field. I don't know if you got a chance to see, but they compared Caleb's passing chart
Mhm.
to Jaden Daniels' passing chart. And I think Jaden Daniels completed 2 or 3 passes on the left side of the field, and everything else was to the right. And
Mhm.
literally, Caleb's is like a.
Yeah,
It
I saw
reminds me of
Caleb.
like
It's
like
like left, right, and then like I don't know how to describe it. It's left and right, like pretty
mm,
fat here for like out routes or whatever, and then like it's down the field. Like there's two dead center of the
Mhm.
field, and then it's all over. It's all over.
Right. It's like it reminded me of like a spray chart for
Yeah,
baseball
yeah,
where
for
it's
or yeah, yeah, yeah.
literally everywhere. Literally everywhere. Um, but yeah, the Colt offense passing Richardson goes 10 for 20 for 167 yards with two interceptions, sacked once. Rushing Jonathan Taylor 23 for 110 with two touchdowns. Uh, Receiving there really wasn't much as far as receiving is. Pierce was their leading yards getter with one catch for 44 yards. Pittman Jr. had four catches for 36. Offensively, I thought, look, Caleb is progressing like from week one to week two to week three. The progression is there. Like we're
Mhm.
seeing him before our eyes get continuously better. Now, that's just not like stats wise, numbers wise. That's literally him making the right reads at the play. Like there's a 4th and 1 early in the game, and I saw it broke down on I forgot the guy's name, but he breaks down like all the quarterbacks and their play, and the one where it's like they have it set up for a run play. He's literally staring at the corner, notices he's got like a 6 or 7 yard cushion, snaps the ball and literally just chucks it to DJ Moore, who we know is going to make a play. I mean, he's literally a playmaker. That's what
Yeah.
he does, is get the yards after catch and gets the first down. So that's, to me, that's what he said, and which I can agree with, is it's a good sign when your young rookie quarterback can be that aggressive, especially early in the game, trusting his guys to make plays for him. So good for Caleb to see the progression. Um, what I would like to see progress now is our head coaching and our offensive coordinator making the right play calls and using timeouts correctly. I mean, Eberflus called the timeout because he's saying go for two, while the coach
Yeah.
next to him is holding up 1 point. So the kicking
Field goal
team runs
units
on,
on the
and that
field.
that that not to say that could have changed the game, but we could possibly have had another possession to go march down the field and possibly win the game if he has his third timeout. Um, and then the decision not to go for the onside. I don't know. I guess um, I wouldn't have done it if I had my third timeout, but knowing I only had two, I guess two and the 2 minute warning, um, but still, like I would have at least tried the onside kick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally the only time that you can onside it when you're trailing. It's the fourth quarter, and what's the other one? There's
What?
three.
Oh,
You have to
when
be
you're
losing. It has to be in
trailing,
the
it
fourth
has to be in the fourth quarter. And I maybe or you have to announce it, but I don't know how
and
new that
declare it.
is.
Yeah. But yeah, I would have gone for the onside kick there. So questionable decisions by Flus, maybe kicking the field goal instead of doing the speed option. That's points on the board. Then we lose only 21-19. But we
And
still
Cairo
lose.
Santos missed a field goal, which we'll get to. We win
Yeah,
22 to 20.
50,
53 yarder. Or no, 56?
56.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
56.
missed
He
56
made the
to open
53.
the game. I mean, that's
Yeah.
literally his career long, but that was like his second year in the league.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, I mean, he's older now. He didn't
I
miss it
mean,
by much.
he's not an inaccurate kicker. He's just not a very powerful kicker. I mean, he's a smaller dude, right? Like, simply put, he's just
Mhm.
kind of a smaller dude. So he's never been known for having that leg, but he also, from what I can tell, very rarely misses from within 35, which isn't saying much. Like literally every kicker in the league can do that now. That's all I'm hearing out of Chris
Well,
Collinsworth every fucking week is he's like, dude, he said it 4 times. I swear to God, he said it 4 times on the Sunday broadcast. He was like, 45 yards. That's like a 3 foot putt. He wouldn't stop talking about how like 45-yard field goals are like gimme putts now. And I'm like, bro, what are we talking about? But yeah, no.
yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, he's surpassed Robbie Gold as the most accurate kicker in Bears history. I think he's
Hmm.
at like an 85% clip.
Mhm.
I don't know what Robbie's was, but that says something about him. Um, but yeah, defensively, the defensive stats, the Bears once again is a legitimate top 10, if not top five defense. They continue to produce turnovers, two in this game. Should have been three. But their struggle, their Achilles heel this week was the inability to stop Taylor. But aside from that, the secondary played lockdown defense. Sweat comes out with his first sack of the season, and literally if they could have stopped Taylor, I don't foresee a game where Anthony Richardson could have beat us. Like if they would have done what they did the first 2 weeks and forced the quarterbacks to beat us, like Will Levis, he would have crumbled. I think he had already thrown two picks early in the game, um, or one in the first half, one in the second half, and I could have seen it easily one more if you force him to make the plays. Clearly, something's going on over there where he's not comfortable. He's air mailing easy throws
I mean, we've
where
seen
he
Caleb
has
do
his
that
eyes wide open.
a few times. Caleb loves to miss his
Yes,
receivers about 25 yards too far forward. Bro's got that
I,
adrenaline pumping through his veins.
yeah, yes, but we also saw him hit him, and I mean,
True. Hey, listen,
he,
listen. I'm not upset about it. At the end of the day, I'd rather see my quarterback throw it 20 yards over his head than throw it 15 yards short and get fucking intercepted. So at least we
yeah,
know he
that's
has
true.
the arm, right? He's just got to lock it in.
Hmm. All right, the Colts defense, they are literally, I think they still are the worst
Terrible,
rushing defense in the
fucking
league.
terrible.
They're looking like one of the best
Yeah.
against the Bears. They forced Caleb to beat them, and they basically made the Bears one dimensional. When your rookie quarterback in his third NFL game is throwing 52 passes, there's something wrong. And a lot can be said about the offensive line, but I think a lot of that has to do with scheme and how we attack the run game. Like we saw Roshan actually have a little bit of success, but then they shy away from him. You right, like you see Swift back out there. If Roshan's going to give you the tough yards and going to keep the pile moving forward, give him the ball on first and second down. Like make Swift the third down back. That's an option, a receiving option. But I mean, I don't know if that a lot of that is the offensive line, right? They're terrible.
Yeah.
They're terrible, and they're not getting any better.
Well, yeah, and I saw Instagram comment or whatever, but it really made a good point, right? QBs always get bailed by saying the O line is bad. Like it's not honestly more crucial for a good O line to produce a good run game. And I can't excuse Swift's. I literally think he has two rushes, maybe three, that are like -8 and above. I don't know what the fuck he's doing there. But literally, I saw a post that I was searching for desperately earlier where it shows all, I think he has 37 rush attempts this year, or 33 or something, has all of them laid out. He has one 20-yard rush, that's his longest, and every other one is below like 13, all the way down to -12. Like, so
Mhm.
sometimes I don't know what he's doing, and then other times it's literally like he's trying to run and he's just getting blown up. Like,
Yeah,
there's nothing you can do
yeah.
when
I
you guys
mean,
can't hold a fucking block. Like,
100%. And um, it's not like Indianapolis did anything fancy. They literally did straight rushes. I didn't see hardly any, if any, stunts or twists. They didn't really bring that much pressure. Like they were almost begging them to run the ball, and they just didn't. They just couldn't figure it out.
yeah.
Um, that Colts defense is not good, and we made them look good. Special teams, obviously, Cairo Santos missed a 56-yard field goal in the first, but he bounced back to knock down a 53-yarder. Um, funny, we talk about the offensive line. People are dogging polls now for drafting a punter in the fourth round instead of drafting a lineman.
Yeah. Oh, I still
Just
believe
saying.
in Tory Taylor.
I was questioning them. I questioned them. You're the one that's all for the Taylor fourth round
I don't know.
punter pick.
I truly don't think you can get an O lineman in the fourth round, but I don't think one pick is gonna save this fucking O line, guys. That's kind of what I have to say to you. Um,
Maybe it could have. What if he turns out to be a serviceable center or
Bro, I don't care. I
serviceable
don't care if you have fucking
right
Joe
guard?
Alt, who's insane, by the way. He's actually insane.
He's
Um,
terrible. What are you talking about? Did you watch the game against the Steelers?
bro. Okay, first of all, sure, the game against the Steelers, whatever. Who was he lined up against? TJ Watt?
I don't care. He's a top 10 pick. And he's
Bro,
not ridiculous if he
bro,
can't
the
block the
first
best in
2
the league.
games, I actually don't think he let up a singular pressure. I don't He didn't let
I
up a
don't think he
pressure
has.
or a sack in the first fucking 2 games. Sure, we're
And then what
talking
did he
about
give
a
up?
rookie who's going up against literally the statistical best defensive player in the league. The fact that he didn't win defensive player of the league last year, fucking travesty. Absolutely fucking disgusting. Almost as bad as the fact that CMC didn't win MVP. We're talking about a dude that was better than Myles Garrett in every statistical defensive category, and they're like, Miles Garrett by a landslide. Like, fuck no. Anyways, moving on. Joe Alt's fucking crazy. I don't care what you say.
No, he's not. He's
Okay.
average.
Yeah, that's fucking Blaze.
He's that's no, you're glazing.
No, no, you're fucking glazing.
How am I glazing?
Damn, he has a sprained MCL. Insane.
Who, Joel?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's terrible.
What?
Anyways, moving on. We didn't obviously have players of the game, so we can't really talk too much about those. My players from last week actually played really, really well. Well, Cole Komet did. Um, but our player of the game, like I said in the previous episode, it could be either team. I went with Jalen Jones from the Indianapolis Colts. He had 2 interceptions, and one of them was just an incredible circus catch along the sideline. You could have gone Roma Dunze for a breakout. You could have gone Caleb minus the 2 interceptions, but throwing for 363 yards. I'm pretty sure that's the most by a rookie in Bears history, by a landslide.
Yeah, big time.
And
He has the
on
most
top
passing
of
yards
that,
in the year.
on top of that, it took him 3 games to hit 300 yards. How many do you think it took Justin Fields?
18.
29.
Yeah, there you go.
Take that, Fields fan club. All right, no, but moving on, I did sort of want to bring this up. I did want to talk about it because it's still fresh in people's minds. But the unfair comparison of Fields to Caleb. Um, he like when are we just gonna let him go? Like
Yeah.
obviously I'm still talking about him, but only because it's all I see on my freaking Facebook feed is last year. Oh, Fields' record. He was like, what's his record? I think his record is like 11-29 or something with the Bears. They're
Yeah,
like,
bad.
oh, you can't, win and loss records not a quarterback stat. To now, oh, Justin Fields is three and
Yeah,
zero.
I
So
saw
which
that.
one
I
is
saw
it?
that. I saw
Which
that.
one is it? Like, are you gonna allow the record to be part of the thing, or are you going to discredit it? Because I would say that Fields is literally just turned into a game manager in Pittsburgh,
Oh,
where he's
100%.
supposed to.
What is he throwing?
Yeah, exactly.
130 yards every single game? Like
Well, he threw for 245, a touchdown, and an interception in the
last
last
game?
game.
Well, at least the first 2 games were like here 156, 117. He did throw for 245.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, I
uh,
mean, what is he? He's got one touchdown, one interception on the season, like
yeah.
and a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, hey, you want to hear something crazy? In
Yeah.
3 games with the Steelers, Justin Fields has 20% the amount of passing yards he had in his best season with the Chicago Bears. 20. He has 1/5 already. He has 518. Last year was his best passing season statistically. Where we know if he didn't get hurt, I can actually see him breaking. I can actually see him breaking 3,000 yards. Now that's important. 25-62 is what he got last year. He already has 518 in 3 games. So if he stays on this pace, he's gonna beat that and then some. Because he'll have a few games left over once he hits it. So obviously, like we've been through this, we're not hoping that he does bad, but it
No.
boils down to that like Caleb Williams brings something to the table that Justin didn't have. That sometimes he was able to bail out with his feet, right?
Hmm.
But, like, that is it's not always gonna work, right? Even Lamar Jackson has to throw the ball sometimes, right? Even Tom Brady had to scramble. It's like it felt like Justin Fields just relied on it so heavily to the point where it was like it wasn't like "Oh, it's his specialty." It was like, "Oh, it's his crutch because he can't do the other things
Hmm.
he needs to do."
Hmm.
Obviously, I still we still wish him the success, but I the comparisons are useless to me, and I literally saw that exact thing about that. Records don't mean anything. So, people are still gonna say what they say, like they don't own a Caleb Williams jersey now, even though they're like, "Give me Fields back."
Yeah, yeah. Like, okay, if you're going to compare him to Jaden Daniels, that's fair, right? If you're going to compare him to Jaden Daniels, you're
Mhm.
going to compare him to Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy whenever he's healthy. That is a fair comparison because they're literally from the same draft class. But you're talking about a 4-year vet who's who's going into one of the best systems you can go to and one of the best cultures and stability and offensive line that you can go to in Pittsburgh. Like, you throw Caleb behind that Pittsburgh
Well,
line,
yeah,
I guarantee you, Caleb's lighting it up right now, and it's not even a question. Same with the comparisons with Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels, they brought in a shit ton of offensive linemen for that kid. Hey, did you watch any of the game yesterday
yeah,
where
I
he
watched the
literally
whole
dropped?
game.
Literally, he I think one drop back he sat for 4.5 seconds before he got rid of the ball.
No, I actually
Like
think so.
4
My brother's roommate, who literally knows nothing about football, we were watching a play, and it might have been the exact one you're talking about. He literally turns to me and goes like, "Holy like shit! How did he have so much time?" Or something like that.
Yes,
Like,
like
and then I was
he
like,
has
"This
all
guy
day
doesn't
to
even
throw
watch football, bro."
like,
And
give
it also helps
Caleb,
that he's
give
got Terry McLaurin to throw to there. He just fucking bombs it up.
Scary
Which,
Terry.
hey, I won't even lie though, insane. That Bengals game was so good. It was a great game, and I'm love the
It just
Bengals.
shows you how bad both defenses are
Yeah.
atrocious.
First,
They're
hey,
terrible.
did you hear the statistic?
First
First
time
game
that
since 1940, no turnovers or punts
there
in a
wasn't
game
a punt. Yeah,
or turnover. It's
yeah,
fucking
that's
crazy.
insane.
Yeah,
That's insane.
that is fucking crazy.
Um,
Well, the only reason why that's so fucking crazy to me is I think it was I missed it, but this is what I assume happened. The Commanders had the ball. It was like 4th and 2, and they were up by maybe like 5, and they fucking went for it instead of kicking the field goal. They went for it on fourth
mhm.
on 2, and they just got it. So,
I
yeah.
think that was one of the option plays where,
Mm.
like his touchdown, like
Dude,
his
his
rushing
touchdown,
touchdown.
they literally gone. They had no fucking idea. He literally could have like crawled. He could
He
have
walked.
army crawled into the fucking end zone.
Yeah, I mean that's what Kingsbury doing, putting his quarterback in a game plan to succeed and playing around Daniel's strengths. Um, yeah, I, those comparisons fair. Keep Justin Fields out of the conversation, please. We're sick
Yeah,
of. I'm personally sick of hearing from him, and I was the biggest Justin Fields fan.
right,
Like,
and we're
I
also
was gonna.
though talking about a dude, right? When you look at it, not to be like this aggressive about it, but in a sense has nothing to lose, right? Like this dude is a 4-year vet
Mm,
who's going to a new system under a quarterback that we would have thought was going to start over Justin. And now he has
mm,
confidence from these wins. He's in a team that at least thinks wants him, right? In Chicago, there was
mm.
animosity there. And right, we're saying he's a 4-year vet where this is literally his last chance to even be a career backup, right? So we're talking about a dude that has nothing to lose versus someone who has everything to lose. And
And
he's
on
still
top of
going out
that,
there and gunslinging it like he is. So
his future next year is in question because Pittsburgh
yeah.
declined his option. So he's basically a free agent after the year. Now, do they re-sign him? I'm sure they do, but um, or at least they offer him because who knows with Russ's health and whatever, or if they go out and draft somebody, I don't know. But their record's going to be as usual. Tomlin's never had a losing season, so I'm sure they're not going to be picking the highest for a quarterback. So I don't know. The Justin, I was one of the guys that said go get the Hall. I was one of the guys that said go do that. Keep Justin, fire Eberflus, uh, start fresh. Well, here's what I said. Here's what I said before we move on and sort of close out this podcast. I was one of the guys that said if they kept Eberflus, they were going to keep Justin Fields because to me it made sense. If you fire Eberflus, you clean house for a brand new system, a brand new quarterback. And so when I heard that, Justin Fields was going to get traded, I was waiting on the news. Hey, Bears fire Matt Eberflus, but that never
No.
happened. And to me, if this season goes as the trajectory is looking, once again we're in a situation where we're probably going to fire Eberflus, and
Caleb's got a new guy in
um,
2 years. It's looking like the
Caleb's going to
same. It's
have
like,
to have a new guy, right? And it's just sort of the Bears cycle. They did it with Cutler when they first got him. He went through six OCs in 6 years. They did it with Trubisky when they went was it Tressman for a year, and then they fired him and brought in Nagy. Yes, because
yeah. No, no,
Trubisky
no,
was
no, no.
not.
I don't think Trustman was
Yes,
under. Okay,
yeah, it's 100.
I'm
percent
okay. It sounds right. Because was what's his face wasn't
Or was it Fox? No, it was Fox. You're
Oh
right.
yeah, no,
It
Trust
was
because it
Fox.
was Lovey Smith, right? Then Trustman for
Mm,
like 1 year, right? He barely. I
no, he
don't even
was
know.
like two or 3 years,
Oh, yeah, I got it right now. I got it right
and then it was John
now.
Fox.
Yeah, yeah, Lovey Smith. No, Mark Trustman was 13 to 14. He was 1 year. That's it. Then Fox for 3 years, 15, 16, 17, and then Nagy for three,
Weston
18,
had
19.
2 years.
No, then 2 years, 13 and 14. Yeah, yeah, because
Yeah, yeah.
he went 13 and 19. John Fox went
Mhm.
14 and 34. Nagy went 34 and 31, and then Matt Eberflus is now 10 and 24 as a Chicago Bear head
Sickening.
coach.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so they went from Fox, so not Trestman, so they went from Fox to Nagy with Trubisky, and now I feel like if the season goes as it's gonna go, it's gonna be whoever and Caleb, and this sort of cycle that the Bears have been under is just gonna continue, and you know,
You know,
I,
it's crazy, but like I don't know, the Bears have some stigma. They've never fired a head coach mid-season. And honestly, if we get to like 12, 13 weeks and it looks like we are cooked, as dumb as it sounds, as much as it's probably going to guarantee that we lose out for the rest of the year, maybe it's never going to happen, but it would be a smart move to clean house then. If you get rid of Eberflus, right, week 12, week 13, when we know it's over, that at least gives Caleb or our offense, our core that's coming back, right, that we've talked about, a few games to settle in before what I mean to this guy, right? I'm sure they're going to try to run the same scheme because it's all the plays that all they already know, but it just helps them understand the coach a little bit better than like kind of like we talked about with Caleb in the preseason games. The longer you can shorten that, like whatever the opposite of a honeymoon period is, the fucking divorce period, whatever you want to call it, of a new coach to a new team or a new player to a new team, the better it is for that team. The Bears are not going to fire Eberflus midseason. I know they won't. Um, but really, if we
but
get to
this,
week
but
12 and it's bad, they should.
well, yeah, if they fire him, it's just going to be an interim coach because they're not going to be able to interview anybody until the
Yeah,
season's
yeah,
over.
yeah.
So anybody that they want, it's just going to be
Shane
they'll
Waldron,
probably.
head coach.
Oh God,
What do you think?
I'd rather I'd promote the special teams coordinator before I do Shane Waldron.
Bro, you could throw a monkey with a clipboard on the sideline, and they could run our fucking defense. I'm so tired of people being like, Matt Eberflus is a good coach because he can run our defense, bro. You could
So
literally
well,
put a newborn on that field with a clipboard, and he is running our fucking defense. Like,
so Eberflus is a good coordinator.
yeah.
I do not think he is a good head coach because last week he threw the challenge flag on a catch that he was literally looking at. He was staring at it.
Well,
And
yeah,
then
no,
he
he threw
lets a
two challenge
player
flags
and then he threw well, yeah, and then he threw a challenge flag.
on the
He
interception.
basically had a player beg him to throw a challenge flag and he was like, "All right, I guess why not? Chuck that one out." Even though Like he dropped. Like, I don't understand. Like there's got to be somebody upstairs, right? Who's looking at replays, going like, kind of like the MLB, where they buzz them and be like, "Yeah, challenge that."
Yeah, exactly.
You know
I
what I
don't.
mean?
Yeah,
There's got to be somebody upstairs
well,
that's
there's
in the
somebody in
headset.
his headsets that's like, bro, and sometimes I don't even understand. I don't know if it was it last week or week two where I think it was week two where I don't know who tipped the ball. Maybe it was Nico Collins. Maybe I think it was week two. It was one of the Dallas or Houston receivers tips the ball. I don't know if it was Jalen Johnson. I don't know who the fuck it was, grabs the
Yeah.
ball. Literally on the replay, you can literally vividly see it bounce off the ground twice. And we throw the fucking challenge flag. Like, this isn't like there's not a really good angle. So maybe we're thinking if there's not a good video angle, they can have like some reasonable doubt that he caught the ball. You can literally see in this replay, the ball hits the fucking ground twice, and we're throwing a challenge flag. Not only is that throwing away a challenge, that is throwing away a timeout when we don't even get the fucking ball at the second half, bro. Like it doesn't.
Yeah, and that was actually the same game where he threw the challenge flag on a Nico Collins catch that in the replay you can see Eberflus staring at it. And you're like,
Yeah.
bro, you're literally right there. How do you not see that that
And,
was
and
like I
both
watched
times, both
in real
times, it
time?
was like it wasn't even like a 50-50 though. Like that Nico Collins catch, I literally think he gets the foot down originally, and his second foot drags for like 3 to 4 feet on the ground before he even goes
Well
out of
the
bounds.
well the
If that's
question
what I'm
was
thinking
is
about.
it's so
Oh, was
it
it
he like
possession?
yes, so he
Mm,
bobbled it a little bit, and they were trying to determine whether his right foot came down when he had possession because his second foot after that, his third, so technically his third step, hit Jalen's leg and never actually touched the ground. Um, but to me, in live watching it, I was like, why would we even throw the challenge flag if you're sitting right there? But anyways, challenge flags, not so much. I'm not too worried about that because challenges are challenges. But the damn timeout use for an extra point. Um, if you have Cairo running out there already, why burn the timeout? Just let him kick the damn field goal, or talk to your other coaches and make sure they're aware of your plan for going for two. Like the fact that we're talking about that burning a timeout for an extra point
yeah.
is mind blowing to me, especially on an NFL field. Um, but yeah, our next segment, sort of our last couple segments here, is our analysis and takeaways. What sort of went wrong this week? Obviously, 3 weeks in a row, we have yet to even touch
Sniff,
or
dude.
even
Sniff the run
sniff
game.
100-yard game out of anybody. Um, Caleb threw the ball 52 damn times, and moving forward, we will not be a successful team if we ask a rookie to try to be a hero in the NFL because mistakes like his interceptions will happen. Um, it's a growing process, it's a learning process. He's made progress from week one to week two to week three, but we cannot ask him to throw the damn ball 52 times. If we take the 1, 2, 3 yards max a run and we have to punt it, so be it. But commit to the damn run game to save this kid. Save
Yeah.
this kid.
Save him
Um,
some hits, bro. Let
yes,
Swift take some of those hits, even though he has been, you know,
he has been
getting
taking a beating too.
fucking yeah.
Um, but lessons learned. I wrote down on here Roshan can get you some yards. He had 8 carries for 30 yards, averaging 3.8 a pop, and looks like a weapon, especially in short yardage situations, i.e., the damn option play. Throw Roshan in, let him get the hard, tough
Yeah.
1, 2 yards. That's literally what he's there for. He's a bruiser of a back. He's not going to be flashy, make the cuts, make the jukes, spin move, and get you 60 yards on a run. He's going to do the dirty work, get in between the tackles, and get you 3, 4, 5 yards to carry. Get him the damn ball. Khalil Herbert's wasting away too. A guy that led the league in yards per carry 2 years ago is nowhere to be found on the field. Two guys that can get the dirty yards up the middle, and they're just not using them. They're sticking with this sweat and trying to run this outside zone, this outside runs, where clearly they're not successful at all. The season impact, this loss brings the Bears to a whopping 1-2, and moving forward, the outlook, especially coming from me looking outside in earlier in the season has diminished, especially with how bad our offensive line has been. Look, people are complaining that Poles drafted terrible and he didn't draft a lineman. But it's not like he didn't try to address any of the situation. He traded for Ryan Bates. Nobody predicts he's going to be on IR. He was predicted to win the starting center spot.
Mm.
Nobody expects Nate Davis to be as shitty as he is this year. And nobody expects Darnell Wright to sort of, I wouldn't say he's regressed, but he hasn't really taken that step forward that a first round right tackle should be taking in year number two. Um, so to say that he hasn't necessarily addressed it, you don't expect them to be as bad as they are. So, but if we can't figure out how to run the damn ball, that starts with your O line. This team is not going to succeed. We can't expect Taylor to throw the damn ball 52 times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if you got anything else for
No,
those.
no. The only thing is that like the outlook just looks not good for us, right? Because I mean,
Mhm.
if we can't beat the Colts, who have one of the, if not like you said, the worst run defense, spotty pass
They do.
defense, um, you know, and we had them predicted to win. I think both of us. I
Mhm.
don't think we can. I don't think we can beat the Rams. Right? We're talking about a Rams team that somehow got ran by the Cardinals, had a pretty damn good game against a contender like the Lions, and fucking beat the NFC champs. So, right, we're talking
Well,
about a Rams
to be
team that
fair, the NFC champs are getting their ass trounced. I don't think they've won.
no, no, they're 1-2. They beat the Jets.
Oh, did they?
They beat the Jets. Yeah, bad too. It
What,
was
week
like
one?
37 to like 17. And the only other thing is, right, like it lifts up a little bit because we play the Panthers and the Jaguars, two teams I would say are definitely winnable games. But then it comes right back at us, right? We play the Commanders, who are looking really good this year. And past years, you wouldn't have said that.
Mhm.
And the Cardinals that beat a team that I think are going to beat us. So the outlook is that, like we hounded on this in the preseason, if we have to win, we need to win now. And the
Mhm.
fact that we are having all these growing pains, even if we can come out of the front half of the season before we play our conference opponents, like one game under 500, two games under 500, we're still fucked. We have to come in
Yeah.
500 or above before we play the Green Bay Packers, or else it is over for us because we're not going to beat the
Mhm.
Lions either games, and we sure as shit aren't beating the Packers either game. So the
Mhm.
outlook is that we need to start winning. And we need to start winning faster, or the season's already over.
Yep. Looking ahead, our next opponent is the Rams at Soldier Field. Episode 15 we will have a pregame
Yes,
episode.
yes, sir.
We missed the Colts one, but
Who
eh,
cares?
we'll be back.
We fucking lost anyways.
Episode 15 will be back. But anyways, basically that does it.
That does it.
That's episode
Episode
number
14. Whatever you're
14.
listening on, make sure to follow, subscribe. I don't know, thumbs up, whatever you got going on over there. We will catch you in the next one. From Matt, Nemo, and my co host.
Steve, aka Bronx. This is then episode number 14. Catch you in the next one.